Thank you. It will be my pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. So forgive me if my movement is not that okay. I wish I could just stand and talk to everybody and move and so on, but thank God for everything. So we can start now. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Hisham Muhammad. Muhammad is the family name. I know it's written in the program Muhammad. Okay, but actually my name is Hisham. Okay, I'm an instructor here in the American University. Okay, of course the topic is the 6 C's of education for the 21st century. Do you have any idea about that?
No.
Nothing? So just that, yes, you came for that reason. What is he going to talk about? Okay, so let's see. Let's start by something said by Alvin Toffler, who's an American writer, who said the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Your comments? This is Arabic. Okay. Chinese maybe, yes. How are you? Huh? Your comments. I would like to tell you something, that all the material, everything related to the presentation will be uploaded to a Facebook page. I have already created a Facebook page. I will tell you everything about it by the end of the session, inshallah. Okay? So don't worry about anything. Feel free to take photos, to take whatever, but I will upload the material and everything, even more than what I'm going to say. Okay? So what do you think this means?
He means, I believe, he means, are you speaking about creativity? Just you are not bound, you are not entangled in anything, you're a free thing, nothing controls you.
Thank you.
Also the idea that you don't have to stick to the one thing that you learn.
Thank
the
you.
idea that you should maybe remove everything you've learned and reconstruct the ideas that you have in your mind.
Thank you. Amazing. Thank you.
It's like a tape recorder. It's like one time writing, you can erase it, put back on and erase it, according to what's
So what is new in our life?
according to you.
Thank you. I love your ideas. Please.
As we already there, we have to do more education, more play for them.
Thank you. Please, Muhammad.
Well, what I figured out from this is that humanity has surpassed the point of just learning reading and writing the basic things there. But we are going to modify what knowledge we have and start creating something new production.
Thank you. I love your ideas as usual. Thank you. Yes.
You can be good at reading or writing, but you aren't a good learner. And when you make a mistake, you don't relearn.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love your ideas. Thank you so much, everybody. Now let's watch a video. First, I'm sorry. What do you think the 6 C's of education for the 21st century refer to? Thank you.
Communication.
Thank you.
Cooperation.
Thank you. Collaboration. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. I love your ideas. Thank you. Something else? Thank you. Amazing. Amazing.
Customization.
Thank you.
Collaboration.
Thank you. So I have to go now. I have to mention everything. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'll give you a break. Anyway, so we're gonna watch a video now about this idea, and this theory was actually started by Michael Fuller. As I told you, everything related to the presentation will be there on our Facebook page. Oh my God! Don't tell me that the sound is not working. This is unexpected.
Do you have an internet access?
We do have, but the point is that we got the problem with the sound. Can you fix it? Thank God. Yes. Once you know, you stood up. It worked.
Murphy's laws, you know.
Be ready with me. Thank you. Again? I'm sorry? Yes?
There should be more than one count for
For the sound? Oh, it's okay. It's in each one? I will tell you again, Adiba, but just give me just 1 minute. أيوة السلام عليكم. أيوة باشمهندس لو سمحت ممكن حد يجي لي بس بسرعة هنا في ماريو 109 المين بيلدينج. بعد حضرتك شكرا. Okay, so anyway, here's something about the idea of 6Cs. Let's save time. These are the 6Cs actually, and this is the theory that was started by Michael Phelan. And as you said in the introduction, that these are the 6Cs of education for the 21st century. Character education, citizenship, what else? I guess you mentioned these parts. Exactly, and we will start by this one. Okay, and exactly. So, hello, how are you? How are you? That's fine. Okay, in your opinion, why do you think it is important to foster the 6 C's of education that you just mentioned? Why do you think it's important? Why? Hello? Yes, please.
Well, it looks, this is something new to me. I may have or have not looked at it before. But it seems to me these are trends that came out so prevalent.
Exactly.
That the guy said, well,
Exactly.
this is it, just trends.
Thank you.
I don't know if it's a theory or not, but
Thank you so much. بنشغل الصوت من على الانترنت مش راضي عشان في كلمة كده. نعم؟ الصوت شغال. حضرتك تبقى وراك منها حاجة؟ ماشي تمام ماشي شكرا.
As we go deeper into learning, can technology accelerate and deepen the quality of learning? And in fact, the answer is yes, although not automatically yes, and that's what we're sorting out. We have these 6 C's, they're called, that will be familiar to most people: critical thinking, communication, creativity, collaboration, character education, and citizenship. How does technology relate to those? I'm going to call those 6 the deep learning goals.
Okay, if you don't mind, I'm going to skip this video itself because I was planning actually to play it at the beginning, but you know what happened? Anyway, this is Michael Fulham who started or who created this theory about teaching, and I'm going to share the videos and everything about the presentation as I promised at the beginning of the presentation. Let's now look at the importance of the 6 C's of education. The key purpose of educational institution is here. I want you to look at the key words that we have here. The key purpose of educational institutions is preparing children for their future jobs. This is number 1. Okay. However, the problem is that future of today's children is so unpredictable. This is very important. Jobs we can't even imagine are created every day. Do you agree with that? With this point, new jobs that are created every day. Employers require creative, problem-solving skills and an ability to adapt to changes. Don't want those children, those students of the past. Those new skills and abilities kids can't polish by solving standardized tests. Do you agree? Do you think if you go on learning with the same system, do you think things will go as we want? Of course not. That's why teachers need to foster new skills in the classroom, skills of the 6 C's of education, as we'll see. We'll talk about this. We'll start by the first one, which is critical thinking that you've just talked about. As you see here, critical thinking is the process of filtering. Okay. Critical thinking is the process of filtering, analyzing, and questioning information, content of course found in various media, and then synthesizing it in a form that has a value of an individual. It allows students to make sense of the presented content and apply it to their daily lives. So we need to learn something and then apply it to our daily life. But tell me something, do students usually apply what they learn, our students, do they apply what they learn in their daily life?
No.
Sadly, no. So, as you see here, critical thinking will involve these skills. Problem solving and higher order thinking skills. Can you give me an idea about high order thinking skills? Okay, we'll talk about this in a minute.
Sensitizing.
Okay, could be. Interdisciplinary approach, and we'll talk about this point in detail in one of the slides. Real world problems and project-based learning, how we can teach them and use projects in our classrooms that will help them to learn, as we'll see. Now we're going to watch a part of a movie. This is the trailer of. Do you know Hassan Iswit?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you love it?
انت اسمك
مصري سيد العرب.
This land is your land. This land is my land. From California.
أنا مواطن مصري وعندي حقوق مصرية. وشو يعني؟ أنت عمال تقول كده في الشارع؟ بس الحين أنا مش متعود، هتتعود بقى وتكون الجماعة وتكسر المناعة وتفضل براحتك. مش حاجة في الصورة. ده العالم؟ أنا مصري. أنا مصري. لا يعني ممكن تقولي
أنا عايزة أعرف مين حضرتك وإزاي تدخل عليا كده اختيار.
أنت مستفز.
Is why do you think I've shown? Do you know the film?
Yeah.
You love it? Thank God everybody's here. Thank God. Okay. So let me ask you some questions. Who are the characters of the movie?
Yeah.
Masri, thank you. Come on, sir.
Miss Mirfat.
Abla Mirfat. Of course, yes. Sorry. Yes? So those are the characters of the movie. Thank you, who else? Huh? Okay, why does Masri suffer? Why do you think? Why does Masri suffer?
Different.
There's a big gap between his life in America and life.
Yes, thank you so much.
There is a big gap.
Thank you so much. You told about something. Yeah. Really, thank you.
It's in rights.
Culture shock, in short, thank you. What else?
Habits and rights.
Thank you.
Duties and rights, habits.
Thank you. Our customs, exactly. Okay. Let me ask you a question. Do we sometimes face some of the same issues that Masri faces in the movie? Watch that. I said sometimes, not always. Watch the words. All of them, like what?
No.
No. We don't have rights. We don't have traffic jams.
Oh, you mean?
But we're used to them.
Well, that's the norm.
Thank you.
That's the
Not
norm.
talking about politics.
We don't call it bribes. That's
Bribes, it's Russia and not a bribe.
yes, but we don't call it bribes
Thank
anymore.
you.
It becomes the norm.
Thank you.
If you live in a big city and you are forced to deal with villagers, so there is extreme cultural shock, especially the
Thank you.
customs and traditions, and especially when they try to interfere with all your life and
Thank you.
find this is the challenge of privacy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Let me ask you some questions. Let's analyze something. Why isn't it easy for Saeed to marry
Because
Abla
she
Mirfat?
is so professional teacher for English.
Because she's a great teacher of English.
High self-esteem.
Thank you so much. Does he have a job? He doesn't have a job. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you so much. Okay. Why does Saeed help her son with the money?
He doesn't have a
That's
job.
because his mother. He doesn't have a job. Exactly. Thank you. More ideas. Thank you so much. Why can't Monsef and Sam live alone? Monsef. They don't have an
Yes.
apartment. Thank you. What else? More ideas? Mother-in-law, yes, when she اتكت لها على السين. Exactly. Exactly. I agree with you. Stressed على السين. Exactly. Thank you so much. What are your likes about the film and what are your dislikes?
It tastes good.
I don't like the ending.
You did not like the ending.
No.
Why?
Not realistic.
Yes.
Exactly. Because they
Yes.
can't. I respect your
Yeah.
point of view. Please. Thank you so much. But actually, the film actually includes some of the positive points about Egypt, the family atmosphere, the mother, the concept of Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much. Okay, let me ask you one last question. That you said that you don't like the ending. If you are the director, what is your vision about Asal Aswad Part 2? If you were the director or the writer, you plan to write Part 2 of Asal Aswad.
Probably the other way
He
around.
will go back to the States. Why not?
Yes. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure.
Thank you so much. He will marry. Maybe he will marry Musa. Exactly. Why not? We don't know. Okay. Anyway, actually. Exactly. Why not?
انا عارف دي تشتغل بطل انجلش بس حاول العربي يعني انا عايز اعمل علاج لاي مشكله في مصر.
Why not?
زي التلوث مثلا زي المعلومه الصحيحه.
So maybe this will be in part 2 if you are the director. Anyway, I mentioned this about the film for some reason. Actually, I was planning to apply Bloom's taxonomy to the film. Okay, and this is a way actually I use a lot with my students, how we teach them critical thinking in a different way, something that is true to life. With me? Okay, so Benjamin Bloom is actually one of the greatest people who work in the field of education, and he said that there are actually 6 levels of learning for education, which start by the lowest level of education, which is
Lots and lots.
remembering, memorization, and hifz. Okay, and you go up to
Understanding.
and then you apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. Let me ask you a question. Did I or did we together apply Bloom's taxonomy to Asal Aswad? When I ask you about the names of the characters, we
Remember.
and when I asked you why he suffered, this was, or what happened to Masri, and about the problems, we started to apply the problems that happened to us in our life, and then we started to analyze why this happened to them, and we started to evaluate. We said, you don't like the ending of the film, this is your right to evaluate. And then when I asked you to start part 2 of the film, you started to create the idea. Okay. This is how we can use, as I told you, you can take photos. I'm going to share everything on our Facebook page, I promise you. I promise you, I'm going to show you the page of the Facebook I've already created. We'll talk about this by the end of the session if you don't mind. This is how you can apply Bloom's taxonomy with your students. If you ask these questions and ask them to use these verbs, things will be better. For example, can the students recall or remember the information? Can they explain ideas? Can they use the information in a new way? Can they distinguish between different parts? Can they justify the decision? Can they create new products? When they ask these questions, or when you ask them these questions, okay, we'll be able to apply this to anything that we learn. And this is critical, a part of critical thinking. I've also shared, you'll find something, okay, about this idea. In this, it's a PDF that includes the verbs anyway that are related to that idea. These are also some questions that we can use to enhance critical thinking for the students. Okay, by asking these questions to the students and see if you want to exercise the critical thinking skills, ask these questions whenever you discover or discuss new information. You can ask these questions to your students. Who benefits from this, for example? Who is this harmful to? What? Where? Also, you can ask these questions when, why, and how. Of course, you can read this later. And now we come to the second point about the 60s, which is communication. And let's say something about this. And see, communication is a skill of presenting information, number one, in a clear, and number two, in a concise, to the point, exactly, and meaningful way, because you can keep communicating with people and they don't get anything of what you're saying. It also makes careful listening and articulating thoughts. Communication has various purposes, like, and use communication for informing, for motivating, and even convincing or persuading people. The question is, do our students usually know how to communicate clearly? We need to work more on that. If you would like to communicate clearly, there got to be effective communication, self and peer review. The students need to review what they are saying and let their peers do that. You should have information fluency, media fluency, and even digital fluency. We'll see how we're going to apply this. What means can be used to achieve clear, effective communication, in your opinion? If you'd like to achieve clear communication with our students, what can we do? Give them tasks. Thank you so much. The new system that we apply here. Good. What else?
Ask for feedback.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Exactly. It is important, as you see, we'll talk about this in detail. It's important to use all types of communication, verbal, usual, written, as well as through technology. But the question here is, how can we achieve that? These are, as you see, the different ways of communication that could be in the form of written communication that we can make our students create something by writing, giving them tasks, by oral communication, visual communication, which is very important, that they can draw something to express themselves, for example, electronic communication, which is the most important point, and talk about this in detail in a minute. And then we need to teach them what we call non-verbal communication, which starts by, do you think we have to teach them body language?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, imagine you as a teacher just standing like that without moving, or just using hand gestures or whatever. It begins with language, eye contact, and voice and even extends to the attire, how we are dressed. And this will help them in their life and in their career in the future. What do you think this is?
Social media.
And these are exactly the ways that we can use, of course, to enhance their communication skills digitally or by using technology. Here are some tips that we need to tell our learners to know how to communicate clearly. They need to articulate thoughts and ideas effectively using oral and written and nonverbal communication skills, as I said, like body language. They need to listen, learn how to listen, and to decipher meaning. I mean, to get the meaning not that easily. They need to exert some effort to get the meaning of something. Our biggest problem in our system of education is that our students are usually too dependent on us. Do you agree with me? Even when they want to get the meaning of a word, what do they usually do? Miss, what's the meaning of that, mister? And we just give it to them easily. They need to listen effectively and decipher the meaning, including knowledge, values, and use communication for a range of purposes, as we said before. They need to use multiple media and technologies, and they need to, which will be helpful, as we said, for using argumentative skills. And I love this point about being the devil and acting as the devil's advocate. What do you think it means? What is it to be the devil's advocate? To be Al Pacino in a movie. Thank you. Actually, playing the devil's advocate, like, can you definition that? Actually, yes, please.
I think it means that you have the students make the brains work the other way around.
Thank you. Excellent. This is the idea. Exactly. If I play the devil's advocate, it's like you say something, I just contradict you. This is like an argumentative skill. I just contradict you. Why? To make you talk more. If you look at professional TV presenters in talk shows, and notice the word professional. I mean somebody like Tony Khalif. Okay? No one else, not about anything else. Okay? You know how they get the information from their guests? This is what we need to teach our students to do. And then communicate effectively in diverse environment, including multilingual and multicultural. Let me ask you a question. Do you know this story?
Yes.
What is the story? Yes, please.
The turtle is always faster than the rabbit.
Always.
Yeah.
Okay.
In all the stories that we've heard.
Exactly. And the turtle is faster because the rabbit was too lazy and was... Yeah, what is the relationship between this and what we're saying? Anyway, let's watch a video about this idea and you tell me what you think.
Once upon a time, a turtle and a rabbit had an argument about who was faster. They decided to settle the argument with a race. The turtle and the rabbit both agreed on a route and started off the race. The rabbit shot ahead and ran briskly for some time. Then, seeing he was far ahead of the turtle, he thought he'd sit under a tree for some time and relax before continuing the race. He sat under the tree and soon fell asleep. The turtle, plodding on, overtook him and soon finished the race, emerging as the undisputed champ. The
Congratulations.
And realized that he'd lost the race. The moral of the story is that slow and steady wins the race. This is the version of the story that we've all grown up with. But our version of the story continues. The rabbit was disappointed at losing the race, and he did some thinking. He realized that he'd lost the race only because he had been overconfident, careless, and lax. If he had not taken things for granted, there's no way the turtle could have beaten him. So, he challenged the turtle to another race. The turtle agreed. This time, the rabbit went all out and ran without stopping from start to finish. He won by several miles. The moral of the story? Fast and consistent will always beat the slow and steady. It's good to be slow and steady, but it's better to be fast and reliable.
Yes, of course. It's
The
normal.
story doesn't end here. The turtle did some thinking this time and realized that there's no way he can beat the rabbit in a race the way it was currently formatted. He thought for a while and then challenged the rabbit to another race, but on a slightly different route. The rabbit agreed. The turtle and rabbit started off. In keeping with his self-made commitment to be consistently fast, the rabbit took off and ran at top speed until he came to a broad river. The finishing line was a couple of kilometers on the other side of the river. The rabbit sat there, wondering what to do. In the meantime, the turtle trundled along, got into the river, swam to the opposite bank, continued walking, and finished the race. The moral of the story: first, identify your core competency, and then change the playing field to suit your core competency. The story still hasn't ended. The turtle and rabbit, by this time, had become pretty good friends, and they did some thinking together. Both realized that the last race could have been run much better. So, the turtle and rabbit decided to do the last race again, but to run as a team this time. They started off, and this time, the rabbit carried the turtle to the river. There, the turtle took over and swam across with the rabbit on his back. On the opposite bank, the rabbit again carried the turtle, and they reached the finishing line together. Both the turtle and rabbit felt a greater sense of satisfaction than they felt earlier. The moral of the story: it's good to be individually brilliant and to have strong core competencies, but unless you're able to work in a team and harness each other's core competencies, you'll always perform below par, because there will always be situations at which you'll do poorly and someone else does well. Teamwork is mainly about situational leadership, letting the person with the relevant core competency for a situation take leadership. And that is the end of the story.
Okay, the love the story. This is what I would like to say. Okay, this team work. So the next point that we need to talk about is
Collaboration.
Thank you so much. Exactly, collaboration. And I will tell you something. When our students see that their teachers collaborate, they will gain this sense of collaboration, and they will start working together. So we need to teach them that by example. This is my opinion. So collaboration is a skill. And this part is a skill of utilizing various personalities, talents, and knowledge in a way to create a maximum outcome. Okay, so let's say that our target is the outcome, exactly. Who will do it? No problem. But let's do it in a team. Okay, the outcome must provide a benefit to the entire community or group due to synergy. I love this word, synergy. It is the combined power of a group of things when they are working together, which is great. The idea that we can win together. Do you agree with me? Why should it be you or I when it can be we? Okay, this is the idea. By the way, I'm planning to start a teachers club maybe, that we can meet and discuss things and so on. Do you love the idea?
Yeah, very much.
We'll talk about it on the Facebook page. I'll tell you about it.
Okay.
You love it. Thank you. Okay. So we'll be working in a team. The common outcome has a greater value than a sum of values of each individual outcome. Okay. This is, thank you so much for turning your mobile phone silent. Thank you. This is so romantic.
Ironic as well.
No. Okay. Team building, effective communication, self and peer assessment. This is our target here. Okay. We need to teach them how to assess themselves and at the same time give chance for their peers to assess them. Okay? We do something here from time to time that sometimes you have the chance here in the AC to attend for each other. Okay, attend and learn and we give like feedback. Okay, and if I have time I will attend with Marwa here. Okay, she's a great teacher by the way. Okay. Anyway, my friend too. Let's talk about the third or the next point, which is culture. Do you think it's important? What do you think culture means here? What's your
Style
idea?
of life. Style of life.
Style of life.
Knowledge.
Knowledge.
Customs.
Thank you. Identity.
Customs and traditions.
The way you think, thank you.
Customs and traditions.
Thank you so much, but the idea here is that, let me tell you a personal story very quickly that happened to me. And the title is, Hi Hisham, I'm emailing you from Ramallah. It happened that like some months ago, I was taking an online course, and the whole course is about critical thinking. It was an online course with the American Embassy and a university in the United States. My teacher, Kara McBride, okay, I'm planning, by the way, to have a session to talk about the contents of this whole course. It's a master's course anyway. It's a great course actually about critical thinking, or can talk about it, discuss later. Anyway, she sent me an email and told me, of course, every time she emails me, she used to email me from the States. This time she told me, hello Hisham, I'm emailing you from Ramallah. Where is Ramallah? Why not Israel?
Depends.
It depends. Thank you so much. So I thought she's my teacher. She's my teacher. No, thank you. I told her, I emailed her back and told her, welcome to the Middle East.
She's cultural sensitive.
Because, exactly, till today, by the way, I swear to God, I don't know what her religion is. And this is something that we learned in our life, and the course stressed on that. I don't know what her religion is. Most probably she's Christian. But she's my friend. She has supported me a lot. I love her a lot. She helped me. She's my Facebook friend now. Till now, we are in contact with each other. So I told her, welcome to the Middle East. And she told me, thank you, Hisham, for your diplomatic answer. Because for me, Ramallah is in Palestine, and for her it might be in Israel. And of course, it's over my dead body to say that it's in Israel. It's something personal for me, but I have to respect her culture. That is the idea. We never talked about politics. We never talked about religion. Yes.
I always say accept but not leave in this issue with my students. So accept the other side.
That's
the other
thank you.
This is not necessary to believe in what you.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember one day I was taking a session with somebody, and she told, she said this point, this something in teaching, let it be your holy cow.
Okay, indeed.
Yeah.
Do you think I would go and kill her? This is what she believes in, okay. This is none of my business. I have to respect that. You got the idea? And this is the point that we need to talk about. Culture or citizenship. Because actually there are two persons who talked about this, Miller and Fulham, who talked about this idea of the 6 C's. Somebody called it citizenship and some other called it culture. This is a part where various authors point out different skills. When we look closer, they are not so different, and actually they go hand in hand with one another. We are in the world for that purpose. What you believe in, what your culture is, this is none of my business. Everybody is free to do what they want. Okay? It is important for an individual to be in touch with everything that surrounds them, both culture and community. This is the idea. And to achieve this, or what we call embrace culture, thank you so much, my friend here said, to accept each other. The idea of acceptance. Embrace culture. Context of information. Exchange, respect, collaboration, build community, real world problems. We are in the same world. This is part of critical, part of the 6 C's, which is extremely important. Then we come to the next point, which is creativity. Do you think we need to make our students creative?
Yes.
They are always, sometimes more than we are. I agree with you 100%. Do you agree with me that sometimes they come up with ideas that never came to our minds? Of course, yes. Most of the time. Tell them, oh my God, I've been teaching this for years. Now you tell me something new. Thank you for adding to my knowledge. Okay. As for creativity here, it provides the avenue for how to express themselves. The structure means nothing without function. Therefore, the individual must be capable of creating something with the knowledge that they have worked so hard to gain or to obtain. It is in creating that the individual gains purpose. When they are creative, they appreciate the value of what they are learning. Do you have any questions? Okay. And then, here's the idea of how to develop creativity, to imagine, incorporate design, integrate function, and we'll talk about these 2 points, which are interdisciplinary approach and STEM, in the next slide. I will not talk much about this, okay? I'll leave it for you, and there is a link at the end that I'm going to share to our Facebook page that will tell us everything about it. I love this idea. Our friend here who is a teacher of Arabic, okay? As you see, STEM is a curriculum based on the idea of educating students in 4 specific disciplines, which are science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It's like mixing everything together. Did you get me? An approach in teaching. In an interdisciplinary, which is involving 2 or more different subjects or area of knowledge, and applied approach, rather than teach the 4 disciplines as a separate. And this is a new idea in teaching. You can read more about it. It's not our talk. Then we come to the next point, which is connectivity. It places the individual in touch with their world in today's existence that is increasingly through the technology that is rapidly changing the way they view their world. Okay, now we live in this era of technology. We have different ways to communicate with each other. Do you agree with me? And understanding that connections are personal. No matter what the means of contact, and that humanity must remain in light of how the technology may change for each individual. And to utilize or to use, to use connectivity, we can use this interdisciplinary approach. Again, encourage collaboration. We have to encourage collaboration and enable technology, of course, and let them be fluent in information and encourage their reflection. Now, one last question. Okay, what are the 6 C's of education? Do you still remember? Thank you. Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. So these are the 6 C's. Education for the future, which are how to think critically, communicate clearly, work collaboratively, embrace culture, utilize connectivity, and develop creativity. Then, there is something which is very important that I had to make that presentation relevant to the topic of our conference today, okay, which is the idea that we need to encourage the students to assess themselves by themselves and know something about themselves. You'll find here some links. Actually, I checked them and they are wonderful, about self-assessment, and even give the students the chance to know what kind of student they are, and even know about their learning style. You can talk about the idea of learning style is very important. Of course, we don't have enough time to talk about this today. Maybe inshallah when we start our teachers club, okay, we can have a discussion about this. And which study habits can you improve? Let's have a look at, as you see here, this is the website. It's called educationplanner.org. Okay? And this is like a quiz that will tell them what kind of students they are. It's lovely that they can do it. You know, when they feel that they do it by themselves, they will enjoy learning. This is something about their learning style. Again, 20 questions. And which study habits can you improve, and how strong is your character? And something even about career tips, which they can check. The last point here that we need to talk about is that quote by the Irish poet William Butler Yeats: education is not the filling of a pail, it's not the filling of a bucket. Do you agree with me? Don't you agree with me that sometimes when we teach our students in many subjects, not English only, we care about what? Huh? Filling their minds, okay. I watch my son's book with all respect to social studies. the book of social studies. Oh my God. And he's going to first prep. Yeah. This was in fourth primary even. I told him, oh my God, are you preparing your PhD in history? Did you get me? And my question is, if you look at the levels of learning by Bloom, it is sometimes, or usually, based on what? That's all. So here, William Butler says that education is not the feeling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. What's your comment about this quote? That's the idea.
Lighting a fire is probably.
I'm not talking about lighting a fire to burn a place or to set fire to a place.
Well, that's one benefit too.
Exactly, sometimes.
For Palestinians, for example.
This is talk about politics. Enough with politics. Thank you so much. What else would you like to add? Please. Yeah? Thank you so much. Thank you. More ideas, please. Thank you so much. Thank you. To be creative. Thank you so much.
Not just to be like passive receivers.
Exactly. That must be active receivers.
Creators of knowledge.
Thank you so much. Any questions?
Yes.
Please.
In culture. If the other culture contrast with the trust, what can we do? In teaching.
With me?
I'm a teacher.
Yes, ma'am.
With students. If the students' culture contrast with the trust, what can we do?
The what?
The teacher. لو ثقافة الطفل أو ثقافة اللي قدامي تعارضت مع الحقائق.
لا
أعمل إيه؟
We're talking about.
حضرتك يا دكتور قلت in America your friend قالت رام الله in Israel.
She did not say anything, by the way. I did not give her a chance to say anything.
حضرتك said in Middle East.
In the Middle East.
What can I do with students?
The point is that, let's say that, yes please.
I put a comment on
Please.
my friend's question. What do you do if a Christian student in your Arabic class in a reading text, for example, that has got verse from Al-Quran?
Yeah, we have to, accept each other's culture. That's the idea. That's the idea. We have to respect each other's culture, religion. Okay, yes please.
Yeah, there's just another point adding to this, that still countries develop education, especially public education, for a sense of cultural identity. They still salute the flag of the United States of America. They still salute the flag of Egypt. They still try to
take us to talk about politics and so on.
I'm not talking about politics, but the point is that now we're trying to provide a model in which culture is globalized.
That is that.
Okay?
I got a solution.
Part of the process of globalization, and we can understand this. But meanwhile, every country is trying to enforce or reinforce a sort of cultural identity to which those people belong. So how can we actually sort this out? We have two opposing processes happening at the moment, at the same time.
Yes.
While being part of the process of globalization, we still salute the United States of America's flag.
Again, taking us to talking about politics and United States. I will call your parents and tell them that you talk about politics in my class. Yes, please. I will listen to you just over. Yes, please. And then. I'm sorry. I still have some time. Please.
In the United Arab Emirates, students will wear Galabaya okay.
Yeah.
I think
we
you
can
mean
talk
that
about
if
this
I am to teach something that contradicts with the beliefs, the religion, the custom, traditions.
Sorry, in 2 minutes, I'm sorry.
Okay, so I think according to the sexes, I am to teach it, and there came the roles of the critical thinking.
Thank you so much.
So you are to tell me whether this is right or wrong. So
I will tell you something.
I'm to tell you something that it's against Islam, for example, and you have a program of sexes, you get your critical thinking to teach it, right?
Okay, let's discuss. These are there on our Facebook page. Thank you so much for your ideas. I have to finish now. These are the references I'm going to finish. This is my contact information. This is my Facebook name. I'm going to share it on the Facebook page, I promise you. I promise you. This is my Facebook. If you add me as a friend, it will be my pleasure and honor. This is an open Facebook group page, and I am waiting for your feedback on the workshop. Okay? Looking forward to that feedback, and thank you so much. It has been my pleasure. Thank you so much for coming.